Thanks for joining us. I'm Kelly Sadler, and this is Politically Unstable. Today, I'm joined with Penny Nance, the CEO of Concerned Women for America. Thank you so much, Penny, for joining with me. I want to talk all things women's issues and blend it in with some politics. In the 2024 election, Donald Trump basically expanded the GOP's margins with every single demographic, with Hispanic, with young men, with Black men, with married women. However, he lost it when it came to college-educated single women by large margins. And in every poll that we see that's looking at, the positivity of the economy or whatnot, it's this group, it's this demographic that constantly has low favorability levels with the current president and with the GOP stance on many cultural issues. I was wondering if you could explain that and what inroads the Trump administration should be making, or the Republicans at large should be making, to win over these voters.
Well, first, and also you left off another great demographic that the president carried was white young women. And we have Young Women for America chapters around the country. We have about 350 of those. And we've seen just an amazing opportunity for conservatives among them. And, we were very grateful to see just the inroads that President Trump made to women. You said it. Often Republicans don't do great with single women. But President Trump changed those numbers, changed those dynamics directly and dynamically. But there's still work to do, certainly. I think one of the things, and we're going to talk about some legislation in a few minutes, but I think one of the important things is for us to actually, have the conversation with them. Concerned Women for America is the nation's largest public policy women's organization. We're pro-life, we're conservative women. We tend to vote Republican, but they don't always. We're a bipartisan organization. But you find when you meet them where they are, talk about the key issues. We have the child tax credit that just passed and was even made better and indexed for inflation by Congress in the Budget Reconciliation Act. You talk to women about issues that they care about, issues like adoption and foster care, caring for the least of these. But, at the end of the day, Kelly, you can't be everything to every single person. And if the thing that the Democrats do, which is try to buy people's vote, that's not going to happen. We've got to help women understand why it's in their best interest and in the interest of their families to vote for conservatives and to support conservative policies.
Well, one of the things that the president has done, and this was basically First Lady Melania Trump was on Capitol Hill urging for this legislation. It's the Take It Down Act that President Trump signed into law. I believe it was earlier this week or last week. And what this does is it makes, revenge porn or intimate AI graphics that are, put online. It takes aim directly at that. So, what do you think of him signing that bill into law, Melania's advocacy for it? And of course, it is something that a lot of women face and is needed.
Well, and people don't understand. It's not actually it doesn't even have to be real pictures.
Yeah.
It can be AI generated pictures of maybe you and me right now. And it is criminal. And I'm so pleased that the First Lady took this on personally. And this has destroyed the lives of many young women and even young boys. There's been suicides around it. It's just outrageous. And it often takes Congress some time to catch up with modern technology. And this is one of those cases. But I'm glad we are where we are. It was long overdue. It's absolutely heartbreaking. And there should be no place on the internet to take intimate images to hurt another person. But we see that's what's happening. And we really have to, now we've done it. We passed it into law and the president has signed it. It has to be enforced. And so DOJ has to take this very seriously. We take this very seriously. The issue of sexual exploitation is one of the 7 core issues of Concerned Women for America, fighting against the way that these young men and women have been treated.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And another thing that the president has been active on since day one of Trump 2.0 is taking on fairness in sports, women competing against biological males. Just this week at a track and field match in California, in the state of California, there was a girl, a 16-year-old girl, who set a personal best in the triple jump. And not only was it a personal best, it was a school record. And she came in second to a biological male who I think outjumped her by about 4 feet. It was absolutely crazy. She was brave enough to stand on the podium at number 1 so she could get her picture taken, and the crowd all cheered for her. But when the trophies were handed out, she was number 2. Can you talk about what the president is doing to bring awareness to this, and why states like California, liberal states like Maine, are still allowing something like this to happen?
It's absolutely outrageous. I'm so glad you brought this up. You know, we have been involved in this issue for about 7 or 8 years. I mean, the day that Riley Gaines was competing in an NCAA swim meet against Leah Thomas, Concerned Women for America, Young Women for America were protesting outside the venue at Georgia Tech on behalf of women. And so we were just so grateful for the president. In 23, I went to meet with him at Bedminster. I even have it on my Instagram picture, it's still up, and gave him the presidential pledge to American women. And by the way, we gave it to all of the candidates, including all the Republicans and the Democrats. Of course, none of the Democrats signed it, but President Trump was the first Republican candidate. And many others were like months down the road before they were willing to actually put their name on the line and say, we protect the biological women, their rights, and we believe that that women deserve these protections. President Trump was the first, and he's once again stood by what he said and done what he said he would do. And we're very, very grateful for him.
Well, we know he signed the executive order, and the House passed, I think it was the Unfair Sports Act, or something to that effect, Girls Only Sports Act. Yeah. But the Senate still hasn't taken that up and hasn't codified that legislation yet. That's because we know all of these executive orders that the president is doing are great, but that can be overturned if a Democrat were to win office.
That's right. These executive orders are not enough. You have to codify them, because otherwise they just flip-flop depending on who's in office. And so, excuse me, you're correct to bring that up. We're grateful for what he did, but Congress has to do the work. Greg Steube has done a number of these bills. It's passed the House, I think, 3 times. The Senate needs to do their work and pass this into law. The president will sign it. He said he'd sign it. But one little bright light in all of this, Kelly, is that the Budget Reconciliation Act prohibits there to be Medicaid dollars, money, U.S. tax dollars, to be spent on transition surgeries, cross-sex hormones, and recognizes, again, the unique dignity of women. We stand on the fact that women we are equal, but we're different, and we embrace those differences. We are unique, and we stand in that uniqueness and are so grateful for it.
You know, Penny, you just have a new book out. It's 7 Rules for Success in Business and Life, a Woman's Guide. Can you give me one of the steps? Give us some of your recommendations and tell us a little bit about what your book is about.
Well, listen, this is a book for women that are either launching into the workplace, coming into college, or maybe relaunching their career. I have many women whose friends and members who stayed home for a number of years, and then they're going back into the workforce, so they just need a refresh. And so the first one is be prepared. And I start out with the story of, even though I grew up in Appalachia, I'm a preacher's kid. I didn't even have dinner with the mayor growing up, but I start out with the story of having dinner with Donald Trump. And I talk about the things that other people taught me that prepared me for that moment, and gave just some basic things that women need to know so that they're ready for these big moments. You know, I believe that God has a plan for every single person, and submitted to his will. Our life is big and beautiful and incredible, and things we could never come up with on our own, but we should be prepared for those moments. So that's what this book is. It's the things that I've seen and the things that my friends that are other CEOs have told me about that are just mistakes that could easily be avoided, and just helping them to be ready for an interview. And, you know, sadly, Kelly, I think we live in a culture where the family dinner table is not the same. Basic civility isn't taught the way it should be. Things like stand up and shake someone's hand and look them in the eye. I see, again, just what to wear to an interview, what to say at an interview, and just things that help people be prepared for that moment, for the bright future that God has for them.
Well, Penny, thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I would urge all of our viewers to go out and purchase your book, because you certainly are an inspiration to many.
Thank you. Thank you, Kelly.